Welcome back to Human Resources for the People. It's a human capital revolution. Today we're going to be talking about the hiring bar in the banking industry. It keeps getting lower, and that's what we're going to dive into with this article from Littler. Littler Insight. Littler is a great resource for people who want to know more about employment law, want to know more about human resources, and are truly interested in the things that go on in this world. So about a month and a half ago, President Biden signed into law the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2023, which that's what kind of strikes me most about this discussion is the fact that this was signed into a National Defense Authorization Act. Didn't have anything to do with banking, didn't have anything to do with anything. But Section 5705 of the NDAA 2023 is entitled Fair Hiring in Banking, which reduces a lot of the statutory restrictions on hiring of individuals, criminals' records by insured depository institutions. Of course, to be quite honest, the criminals are in the banks already, regardless of what the Fair Hiring and Banking Act is. So, I don't think this really changes things. But for those of you that want to get into banking at the lowest levels, there's some room for you here from this act, and everything that goes with this will reduce some of the requirements and holding penalties. For the signature of this act, you had to get written consent from FDIC to hire anyone with a criminal offense that included breach of trust, money laundering, or dishonesty. After this act, they still have to make a reasonable inquiry into an applicant's criminal record history, but the lifetime ban no longer exists. Uh, so before, it was a lifetime ban, you couldn't have a criminal offense and then work there. And then in addition, it reduced out the minimal offenses. So they used to have a situation where if you had one small offense, there might be a waiting period um, of 5 years. Now it's a 3 year waiting period following 2 years. In addition, the minimum threshold for small dollar simple theft crimes went from $500 to 1,000. So again, fantastic. As much as I am for the removal of hiring and the involvement of criminal matters with respect to hiring, I can't justify people in the banking system. I don't think that this is a good idea, and it will lead to even more criminals in the banking system, of course. So there was more provisions in Section 19 and Section 205D, and it allows you to be employed in an FDIC insured bank or credit union for certain older offenses, offenses that are more than 7 years old, or if the individual was incarcerated with respect to the offense and it's been more than 5 years since they were released from incarceration, or if they were under the age of 21. And so as a result, this is again opening up the banking system to further criminals. I guess that since the banks are insured, they're happy to allow this. I'm not sure what's going on. In addition, hiring and banking provisions allow the FDIC and NCUA to exempt other de minimis offenses by rulemaking, and they do that with de minimis offenses that are punishable by a term of 3 years or less. That any de minimis exceptions with respect to offenses for writing insufficient check funds, as well as other lesser offenses. So in total, it will really increase the de minimis offenses, which will lead to more people who have a criminal record in the banking workforce. In today's difficult labor market, FDIC member banks will see some advantages in these loosened restrictions. They can now hire more employees. They can now hire more reformed convicts into their positions, and that could help out their hiring. In addition, with the loosening of restrictions, the sections can no longer be relied upon as a basis to automatically disqualify applicants with certain offenses, and that will open them up as well. I think, again, I think that there's a lot of value in reducing the dependence on background checks for companies. I'm not so sure about banks, but I want to hear from you. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye, guys.